Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Cat's Track. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing this with your friends. Today's episode is with our friend, Richard Truscott. Richard was born right here in Calgary and also lived in Ottawa for 5 years and Regina for 5. He loves his family. Richard has 2 university-aged children who are amazing adults that he's extremely proud of. Besides his loved ones and traveling, Richard is passionate about politics and business. We know that about him. He truly enjoys helping policymakers understand entrepreneurs and business owners and vice versa. In Richard's free time, he loves the outdoors and is an avid downhill skier. Summers are typically full of sun and time on different lakes with a ski boat. I'll have to ask him what kind of skier he is. Friends, you'll find his full bio attached. Richard, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This is great. Nice to see you.
I'm glad you could make time. Thank you. Are you ready for the questions?
I'm ready. Yeah, fire away.
Okay, I'm gonna trick you, and I'm actually gonna say one that it's not on the list. So yeah, are you a water skier? Like, what kind of boat? What do you got going on there?
Yeah, I am a water skier, and so are my kids. But they also love the surfing thing. That's all the rage right now is to surf behind these boats, and so they've been doing some of that. I've tried it, and I did get up once, but I'm much more of a skier, and I've been doing that for probably 40 some years. So.
Oh.
Yeah, a long time. And so, yeah, I did really enjoy spending time at the lake with my family and doing water skiing and sitting in the sun. That's something I guess you could say I'm passionate about, relaxing and doing nothing and being at the beach. That's something I truly enjoy and my family really enjoys as well.
That's so nice. So another question, my sweetheart's also a really good skier. Do you have a membership at the Predator Bay or whatever it's called?
Yeah, I don't, and I've looked at that. I've thought about that in the past. I've also thought about taking lessons. I mean, I'm a pretty good skier, but you can always learn new things and try out new techniques. And the way we do it is we spend a few weeks a year in BC. We don't have a cabin ourselves, but we like to rent different places at various lakes, and so I like to do it au naturel. I like to get out there on a big lake and just spend the day water skiing. And the kids like to surf, as I say. And when they were younger, they were into the tubing thing, being pulled behind the tube, but less so nowadays. But yeah, it's I do love being out on the water in the sun and with some friends and family, and that's something I really enjoy.
Oh, I'm delighted to hear that. Good for you guys.
Yeah.
And what about your greatest challenge in the last few months?
Oh yeah, wow. That's I think there's been a lot of challenges for a lot of people in the last few months, and really the pandemic has been a shock to the system for a lot of people, and I got to say it's been a big adjustment for me. On the work side, we've had to adapt our business model. It's one thing when we're working with clients and trying to help them solve problems and working with government to do that, or we're trying to build relationships for a business with government, and that's some of that work has still been fairly seamless. But really it's the finding new clients, is that business development work that is different now, because for so long we've relied on in-person contact and sitting down face to face and talking about what the challenges are and what the issues may be, and then sitting down with another group and working with government in person and that kind of thing. And that's really gone by the wayside, at least for now. So finding new business for me has been a challenge. There's very few in-person events. There's very little in-person networking. So we've had to make do in the virtual environment. And it's great and it's fine, but nothing replaces having face-to-face contact, looking someone in the eye, doing a deal, shaking their hand, and that approach has really had to change over the last few months. And so that's probably the biggest change on the business side. And then in personal terms, I mean, I've just had to get used to working from home as well as working from office, and being flexible as to how the average day looks. And so, yeah, it's been a big adjustment for myself, as it has been for a lot of people in Alberta, in Canada, across the world, quite frankly.
You're so right. Wow. Yeah, I think the challenge you've mentioned are everybody's.
Yeah.
I hear you. And I do miss the in-person thing. I mean, I appreciate the fact that you've taken time to do this. I would have much preferred us sitting next to each other and actually have an interview going on and have someone else record it for us.
Absolutely, yeah. But I'm a real people person too, and I love to see people, and that's been a big adjustment, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. What about the 3 things that you wanted to share with everybody today?
Yeah, three things. Wow, I really had to give that some thought, and there's a lot of things that came to my mind, but there's really, I guess, three things that really jumped out at me. First of all, I know it's been a very difficult time. This has been an extremely difficult period of history for the world, and of course, in Alberta, we've been suffering through not just the pandemic, but sort of a triple whammy of the global recession, the massive decline in oil prices and commodity prices, and then of course the pandemic. So I guess one of the things that really jumps out at me is that we should be confident that we will come out of this, that we will be better off in the long run. We'll be more resilient. I mean, this part of the world was settled by people that they weren't shy about facing the elements, about taking risk, about dealing with adversity. So I think we're going to come out of this stronger and better than we were in the past. And hopefully our economy will be more diversified. Hopefully people will maybe stretch their legs and try some new things. And I think ultimately we will be better off down the road. I know it's hard to see now, but I think this will be something that will make us stronger in the long run. Secondly, crisis tends to bring out the best in people. It also has brought out some bad things too, especially early on in the pandemic when there was a bit of panic and people were, trying to figure out what this all meant. And there was, a run on certain kinds of groceries and toilet paper, and that's something that has really struck me, is that in the short term it didn't bring out some good elements in people, but over the long term that it really has caused people to work with each other, to be open to trying new things, to working together. And that is something that I think has really come into focus in the last few months, that we all do need to work together. We're in this together, and we need to treat each other with kindness and respect, and we'll get through it a lot easier. And then lastly, the other thing that really stands out for me is that we do have a responsibility to each other to help each other. And I mentioned about how this part of the world was settled. That's, Alberta is a place where we do value, rugged individualism, but that's true. But at the same time, we do need to work together. We have a responsibility to each other to see our way through this, and so we do need to invest in the service of the service for others. And that's something that was instilled in me by my mother. She was a real advocate of being involved in the community. And, she herself was a big volunteer with the Canadian Cancer Society. And, unfortunately, cancer did catch up with her about 10 years ago. She battled cancer several times, but, she was a big advocate of being involved, of helping the community, of working in the service of others. And that's something that really has stuck with me. So over the course of my career, I have really tried to be involved, to volunteer my time and my services for community groups or charities or nonprofits, and really tried to give back. And I think that's something that we ought to keep in mind as we move forward post-pandemic, when we get through this, that it's really important that we all take some responsibility for taking care of each other.
Oh, I love it. What a great message. Hey, I'd like to ask you to come and speak to our Rotary Club if you'd be interested.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I've done, well, in my role at CFIB with the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, I did quite a bit of public speaking, and I really love that. I would truly enjoy that, whether it's virtual or in person. I'd really enjoy that. That would be great.
I'm glad. Yeah, unfortunately, we've moved back to Zoom. We tried being in person, but yeah, unfortunately, with the restrictions again, we've decided we're back to Zoom. So, but I'll make that happen.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. And what about your legacy or good news story?
Well, the good news story. That's a tougher one, I think. And that's, I think, to be determined for me. I think there's still a lot of fallout that's going to happen as a result of the pandemic. But I think, like a lot of people, I really had to reflect on how I'm spending my time, and really thinking about the importance of family and close friends. And it's also the stage of life that I'm in, because I raised two children, and they're amazing young adults now, but I'm kind of getting my own time back now. So I've got this period of time, and I've also wrapped up quite a few of my volunteer opportunities that I was working on over the last number of years. And so this has been a period of time for me when I've been able to reflect and think about, what I want to do with my time. Do I want more leisure time, more time at the lake? That would be great. But where do I want to volunteer and help out the community? And also in terms of my career, where is that ultimately heading? And so this has been a really good time to reflect, I think. And that's been the legacy, I think, of the pandemic for sure for me, is is that it's really caused me to reflect on my life and what's important and, what I value and how I can give back. So I think that really is the longer term legacy for me anyway. But I think some of it still is yet to be seen. I think that part of the story for me, I think, is still yet to be written.
Are you going to run for politics?
I'm not sure about that. Had you asked me maybe 5 years ago, I might have said yes. And I really respect people that do that step
Me
up
too.
and serve in public office and the people that work in government. I mean, it's very important to work regardless of what side of the political divide you're on. If it's something you truly believe in and want to help out, that you should jump in and do it. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I haven't closed the door to that entirely, but I'm really enjoying what I'm doing now, and the clients that I'm working with in terms of helping them, interact with government and solve problems and build relationships. I'm really, really enjoying that work right now. So I'm just gonna, basically stay focused on that. And if the opportunity to run for public office comes along someday, I'll consider that.
Oh, okay, everybody, we heard that one.
Strong maybe.
Oh, Richard, thank you so much for taking time to join us today. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me on. It was great to discuss these things with you.
I agree. Thank you again.
Bye-bye.
Everyone, that was Richard Truscott. Check out his amazing profile and watch him in politics in the future. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next Cast Track. Take care.